All right, then. I think we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I am Mariam, host for this session. And today we are going to talk about from design to launch, empowering your creative journey. And for this, we have a very amazing speaker, Carla Fernandez, who has 20 years of experience in UX, UI, and digital product design, specializing in launching fully functional MVP apps with no-code tools. She has developed digital projects to 150 plus businesses and launched 15 plus native apps on App Store, Google Play. Carla is also a passionate mentor focused on creating accessible and delightful products. Welcome, Carla. Thank you so much for your time. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. And without any further delays, I'll just pass it to you. The stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for everyone to be here. Welcome. I really am excited to be here, and I really hope this talk today really incite you to go forward with your project. So, to start to warm it up, I really want to know a little bit about you. So, where are you coming from? Just put on the chat. I really want to be having a little bit more interaction with you guys. I'm really happy for those that woke up very early today from US. There was someone from Montreal, India, Singapore, Canada, Berlin. Oh, I love Berlin. New York. Who doesn't love New York? And of course, there are so many places to love here. Oh my God, everyone, this is really cool. So, yes, let's start. Okay. So, yes, it is really great to be here. And I really want to take this opportunity for us to network with each other too. So, I have created a network sheet that has a lot of the links that I will speak around this today's event. And I really want you to pick a look and then maybe put your data there, check out the links. But the point is later on for us to network. Actually, I give Grace Link from the Design Buddies total reward for this type of a sheet. She started with it, and I'm just following her steps. I really love to network with you all, so let's take advantage of it. And getting to know a little bit more about you. So I have a question number one. Which of the following best describes your role? So it will be a pool for you to answer. It will show up on your screen. Marian? No. Let's see. Yes, so now you have here, which of the following best describes your role? You are a founder, a product manager, a designer like me, developer. Have never been a developer. I tried it a little bit. A marketer, author. So tell me, 1 minute for you guys to answer. Okay, so, oh wow, 85% of you all are designers like me, and product managers, developers a little bit, and marketer. Really interesting to know who other are you. So put on the chat to what you are if you are other. Let's keep moving on then. For the next question now. What is your current level of experience with no-code tools? Since there are developers here, maybe there are some people that you also be doing a lot of things. I love that Bufford said that he's a software genius. So let's see about no-code. Okay, here it doesn't show me the results now. Let's see. Everyone has answered. Marian, I think we can go to the next. So, and get the answers of this one. I didn't get them. So, you will try again maybe. What's your current level of experience with no-code tools? 44 votes. I cannot see the answer, so I cannot. So I cannot see the answer. I see 44 of you have answered. So let's see what was more here. There is a bunch of wows happening. Okay, let's go to the next. Maybe the next you work. So who here uses no code daily? Tana, you said that it's more like Webflow and stuff. So the second, the other pool now, a lot of people saying, yes, I do. Amazing. Amazing, guys. Really good. So let's move on. You all know Steve Jobs. We are filled with designers here. So he says that design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. And you have seen the increase of companies really going after this. If it's hiring designers like us, product managers, product owners, even more developers to make things work easily and fast, right? So today in the traditional development, what are the ways that we do things? If you resume them a little bit, it's like you go from idea, then you do the prototype, you test it, define the bugs, and then as a designer, you leave it the stage there. You come in with development, and development can take from 7 to 12 months on average to make a product feasible. So these 7 to 12 months can really vary depending on how complex the app is, or the website is, or the SaaS is. And then after that, they launch and go after users. So this takes a very long time. And this is the traditional way for us to do things. So we designers have ideas every day shaped into solutions. Like we take all these ideas and we go after research, we talk with users, we interview people, and we get to know what's going on in that field, and we create solutions. I am trying to get used to manage the slide on the side. So more than ever, we need people to create products that go fast to the market, really save money and also resources, and it's easy and fast to iterate. How we do that? Like there are here the no-code phases. So as a designer, me and 85% of you guys, we now can not just do the ideation, go to prototype testing, find bugs, improve our design, but we can also start to develop it, and fast, from 4 to 8 weeks. And then launch, we can also do that. And after that, maybe market gets in and also do the part where they do the user acquisition. But we are able today, without any coding skills, to do all of this process by ourselves. Okay, so I'm Carla Fernandez, like Marian said to you. I have launched 19 projects so far using no-code tools, and I am focusing right now really on apps. So before we could not do apps, and I have been doing development for a while. So tell a little bit about my story. I started as a graphic designer when I was 15. Then I became a web designer because this was the next thing, right? Like the web was booming in 99. Yes, I'm that old. And then after this, what I realized was that I could do the graph design for the web. So I start to learn a little bit HTML, CSS, not really fancy or anything. First, I start with those blue horrible links. I then learn Flash. I start to do websites with it. And it was very exciting for me, to be honest. I'm sure you all have also learned a little bit of those tools, right? If you did, put there in the chat, like who remembers Macromedia Flash? After this, I realized that I have a lot of customers on the side, and doing this, having this customer on the side, I really wanted to give them the whole experience. So I started to develop websites a little bit more for real using WordPress. That is actually a no-code tool, if you didn't know. Like most of the end users or even the customers that get a website done with WordPress, it's because they can manage the content. This is really important for them. And for the last 5 years, I have been really into UX UI. I did a certification. And after that, I realized that no code was around about 2 years ago. I will tell you a little bit more about this phase later on. So what's no code? No code is a movement about bringing possibility to those that don't have technical background. So it is a possibility for us designers and normal people to really build our products without having any code knowledge or without having the need to write any line of code. What is possible to build with no code today? You can do a lot of things. You can do websites, you can do native apps, you can do progressive apps. You can also build CRMs using Airtable, for example. You can build a lot of solutions, SaaS solutions, software as service, with no code. And now a little bit more about you again. So who here uses no code daily? So I'm checking on the chat a little bit too, see what's going on here. Stefania, it's happy to connect with everyone. Just use the network sheet too to not forget to put your data there. Melissa as well. So full time, right, Marian? Who here uses no code daily? A lot of people saying that they do. 33 votes. Wow, this is amazing. I really loved hearing that, seeing that. So let's go further now. As a designer, we can now validate our ideas, and more than that, we can deliver. And I think that's the amazing bit of it with no code. So why did I start? I got all that long story short now. 2 years ago, I realized that in 2011, I wanted to build an app that was for me to knot scarves. I actually saw a bunch of drawings online about the step-by-step that you need to do to knot your scarf, and I thought it was really amazing. So I decided, okay, that would be a really cool idea. I checked the app store. There were not really a good app there, and they were all looking terrible. And as a designer, of course, we know that the way it looks is also important, even though function is the most important. So I realized early that I needed an illustrator, someone that would do the illustrations for this app, because I'm terrible at doing drawings. Then I invited a friend of mine that was terrific at it to draw the step-by-step of those knots to scarf. She did it, and then I started to learn a little bit of Objective-C. It was iOS 3 at the time, and I was not fast enough to build my first prototype. When I finished, it was very simple app. They just launched the version 4, and it was a lot of changes. So I realized I could not keep up. I could not do this. And it was sad because Miriam, my friend, have done all the illustrations, and it was 50 ways to do knots with scarf. So it was a lot of work putting this project, and kind of wasn't done. So I actually tried to hire developers to do, and they were pretty expensive. And the one that even started was never delivering things on time. So I realized, okay, it's better to just let it go. So 2 years ago, I realized that I have this project just in a folder, and I learned about Bravo Studio. When I learned about Bravo Studio, I was very impressed that we could use Figma, connect with it, and turn it into a real native app. And not just only for Apple, but also for Android. So it was iOS and Android in one app, and without using code. That really triggered me, like the best wishes. I was really on fire. Then I realized, okay, this is the best I can do. I can try this for a month. So I got a month's kind of sabbatical to learn and to study the tool to build that first app. And when I did that, I think it took a little bit more than 70 hours, I could build and I could publish it. So when I did publish that first app, it was just the start of my journey. I really just loved it. And there were so many things I was seeing as a product designer out there for startups that could just be built the same way. And of course, maybe they would take a little bit longer to be built, or they would have to make a shorter version as an MVP, a smaller version, but it would work. And this was the most important thing. So, as I said, what I use today and what I have been using extensively in all these projects is Figma, that probably you all here use already, as 85% of you are designers. Is that right or not? Put it on the chat. Do you use Figma or do you use something else? And then I also use Bravo Studio, and I am a Bravo expert. I use Airtable, that probably you also have seen it. Tamara also uses Figma, Bafor, Troll, Sophia, Kevin. Oh my God, everyone. Elizabeth, Joanna. So you see, Figma is so used today. And when we finish an app in Figma, 50% of it is already ready to go. So I think this is the amazing part of it. Then Airtable, to have the data, make it real. You can also use Google Sheets or other kind of database, and Tally. And I'm using Tally in several of my projects right now because it connects directly with the database on Airtable and add the data there, which I think it's amazing. So there are several tools today, and you probably know some of them here. You can see Zapier, you can see Webflow, you can see Dash, you can see HubSpot. Yeah, there are, Figma is a no-code tool, right? It's a no-code tool that allow you to do prototypes. You really don't need to code to create prototypes and almost everything in Figma. So it's even good for developers, even that, it's a mainly design tool. Actually, there were a survey, I think, that they realized that the main public today are developers, maybe because in a traditional team, you need more developers to build something than designers. We are the smaller team in this category. So now I want to know a little bit about you again. So what kind of projects would you be interested in building with no-code tools? Tell me on the poll. Let's see. Oh, then also uses Figma and XD, Photoshop, Illustrator, Sketch. Wow, you are using everything then. I stopped using many of those. Today I mainly use Figma. So 60%, 57% are interested in apps. Some are in websites, some in web apps. web apps and native apps very similar, or web apps and websites are very similar. I would even count them more or less as one. Very cool. But 49, 53 votes. Yes, mobile apps are still the one that people want to do more. And also, it was the one for me because a lot of the projects we deal with today are native apps. We really have this problem with our brain that we have to remember the website and click on it and then go for it. And it's so much simpler when we just click an icon and use it. Do you agree? So some things more happening on the chat here. I'm just checking it out. Let's go to the next question. How often today do you use no-code tools in your work or projects? This will be very exciting. Since 85% of you are designers, I will really be interested to know. So let's see. A lot of people are using it, almost always, 50%. Okay, it's growing. Yeah, Harley is the one that has less votes, which is amazing. So 40% is still almost always using no-code tools. This is great. And I really love that you all are into this. Let's keep it going. Great. So, how was my journey? Yes, filled with ups and downs a little bit. You know, once I learned that I could build those apps, I put a lot of effort learning it. And you know that learning is not like this, it's really like that. It's almost like the design process, I like to say. Don't you agree? So it was easy and hard at the same time, but it was always very exciting at every launch. And here I want to show you an example of some of the apps I have built. Many of them are there just for you to download for free. You can get them into these links that are on the screen. You can check them out. And the first app, it was Scarf app. I just told you the story about it. So I spent 7 hours doing it. But you know, I just didn't build the app on this time. I built the app, the marketing website, the video, or I use Jitter Video. If you haven't, guys, haven't tried it, you should. It's a plugin for Figma, amazing to do videos with Figma frames. I think it's just great. So I did the video using that. I also did Seller Count. It was an app for audio and video for Benedict. It's his project, and it took 26 hours to build. So you can see that once I learned a little bit, it was much simpler to keep it going. Then I launched Creative Links with 25 hours, then UX UI events, and this app is now actually on research to improve how to help UX UI designers, junior designers, to get their career all together. It's just network with events. Is it also maybe links for them to learn their proper tools? It is. It can be so many things. So we are in this phase of research again. How will you improve this project? But the first version took 22 hours and a little bit, well, almost 23 hours to build. And then you have 100 animals. That is about 100 animals with images and sound of the name of the animal done in 6 languages for kids to play with and learn a little bit about sound and the pronunciation in the process. Toddlers, right? And each of the apps took about 11 hours to build. And the latest one, it is called Nocode Class. And Nocode Class, it was a very interesting project, and today it's free on YouTube for you to watch. It was a course from zero to launch for you to do a native app. It is a 3.5 hour course, and today it's for free on YouTube. You can check the YouTube channel on the network sheet. So it took 81 hours because I had to record the course. I did also the landing page. I also did the app itself. I explained how to build everything. And even this Figma file you can download and try it on your phone. And you can also download the app for free today on iOS and Android. So you can check all of these links on the Google Sheet too, on the network sheet. So I want to say here that 455 hours is not a lot. It's like about 10, 11 weeks of normal work. And in 11 weeks, built 6 products. Actually, it wasn't 6, it was 11 because there are 6 versions of the 100 Animals app in 6 languages. It's quite a lot. You can do so much. And this number is really not updated, but when I did this screenshot last time, I had 2,532 users on these apps, which I think is also great. So you can see that the point is that you can really start acquiring customers and see where they come from. Like I didn't do ads for none of these apps, and it all grew organically. So now I can tell you a little bit about my Building in Public project. I created an idea. I thought, actually I have been having this idea for a while, that I wanted to create a place where people that wanted to use no-code tools would find tools that they could rely on. It was just there, and I was not really doing it. So I learned about building in public from several people, but I heard KP talking about it on a podcast. He has a podcast, Building in Public. You should check it out on the App Store. And I got so motivated by it because there were deadlines, there were things you should do, and you should inform the audience and so on. So I realized that could maybe be for me and would make myself really fit the schedule. So I created a plan to launch a product in 21 days. That was quite a lot to build and doing from zero to the end, but still doing a little bit every day and keeping my normal life. Like I'm still a designer, I'm still a freelancer, contractor, and also working with mentees every day of the week. So here now I will show you in a very quick way what were the deliverables of these 21st days. Day 1. So I started to define the problem. No-code tools. It started as a no-code tools, the name of the project, because I want to build that space. Then day 2, I actually thought about what it would aim. So it was the idea behind it. Day 3, what was the ideal solution? After I did survey with 24 people, and they told me a lot about their where they got their tools, where they learned about the no-code tools, where they had the material to learn things. Day 4, I created a persona. Used Midjourney to create this beautiful John King there. It was really fun to start using all these products around to create something new. Day 5, I created a sitemap of the app, also some user flows. If you want to see the whole every day that all deliverables, you can check the website, or it is also on the network sheet, or you can also check my Twitter. It is posted there every day. So day 6, I did do the wireframe. And, I also sketched before. I sketched using Freeform from Apple. It was quite fun. I actually tell my mentees to sketch on their phone right now using Freeform, because I think it's quite interesting that you can use the Freeform as a background and see the phone, as it is like the cover of it, and then you just draw inside. I think it's quite interesting to do that. Then I start improving the prototype. So here I did improve the prototype a little bit with the image, just to see how it would look like. Then day 8, I did testing with 5 users. I discovered a bunch of things I should improve. And even those that didn't really have a lot to it, like the number 2, right? It's like a minor thing. I still tackled most of it. So on day 10, I did most of it and I archived one idea. So day 11, I did create a mood board and the brand. So it was then that Nocode tools got a name. It was called Nocode Craft. And my bit here is that I actually didn't have a name for it, but I was listening to Creator Science podcast, and there Jay tells how he did rebrand his own project from creative science to creator science. So it was quite interesting podcast. You should all also check it if you like branding and you think it's interesting for your work or for your life. It's really cool. And so I created this mood board on Pinterest, the word. And then on the day 12, I was able to get 284 tools into Airtable and create a database for this project. Day 13, I created all the forms I needed to interact with the user. It was for requesting a quote from other expert. It was for sign up. It was for the newsletter, for requesting tutorial, contact form, registering as expert. So it was quite fun. And I also invited the register as expert link to other people that use no-code tools to be able to register themselves. Day 14, this is the app bravorized. This is a quite difficult word to say. So this is the bravorized file. Since I use Bravo and then I use Bravo tags to add into each field to make this possible into the mobile app, we called it bravorizing. Then day 15, you can see the prototype happening. This spaghetti is starting. Day 16, you have a little bit of, oh yes, the print screens of the first version on Bravo. So you can see it already on your phone. It is already having real data and it still looks ugly. And then you still have it a little bit ugly, but it's working and you get more excited with it. Before said the process of bravarification. Yeah, can you pronounce that before, really? So day 17 is the time where the app got the high fidelity. And I fell in love with it. I hope you also do. I really enjoy doing this and step by step. Day 18, now I have a menu. I see the icons of the tools. I have a little bit more design to it and a brand identity. Day 19, it's the time of the store assets and also the launch, the launch title content that you need to put on the App Store, on the Google Play Store, on Product Hunt. Who here is on Product Hunt? Let me know in the chat. Oh yes, let me know in the chat if you ever launched a product on Product Hunt too. And if you did, put the link of the Product Hunt product on the chat. So then I arrived to day 20, that was last Sunday, and I got the package from iOS and Android for this app, and now I am actually waiting for launch. It was supposed to be exactly now, and I could have launched the Android version because it's ready to be launched, but I had a few tricky things with Apple and I'm not able to launch today. Still, the launch is really soon, and I do it on Product Hunt, and I hope you guys to be following it there, and also to help me, because number product of day you just be based on your support. So I would really love to connect with you all. I would really love to have your support. And this is emote help waiting, I would say, right? Waiting for a review. So I have it ready on Google Play, but it's still not ready on iOS. Sometimes like this. And I have to agree with Lau. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. If it haven't start with this one step of me, you know what? I am building this in public. Probably I would just still have this project somewhere because I have a busy life, I have other schedules to do. But since that worked for me, it also maybe want you work for you. So who here now is excited to create their own app? I really want to know. Let's go to the pool. So a lot of this me. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. So let's go to my next slide. I want to know what you are going to build now. If you have an idea, put it on the chat. I would love to hear and also to see if it's feasible. Thank you very much. Again, filling out the network sheet, and I am really all questions now. And let's see what you guys have doubt on. Okay, let's see. What do you think the single most important aspect of launching and shipping a product is? Summer Lee. First, I love your name, Summer. So I think it's a start. It's really starting summer, because if you start building it, you launch, and if you launch, you can see if your users you really be interested in that. You can validate it, and then if it didn't work, you can see what worked and improve it. If it doesn't work at all, you can go to the next idea. Sadly, we don't have like a magic box where we say like, okay, I will build this because this is definitely what people want. I created the No Code Craft project, really believing people want to go to one single place to learn about no code tools, and I intend to create tutorials and to talk about different tools every week. So I hope that is helpful, and I hope that's what people want. But it took me, 21 days, maybe a little bit more than 50 hours to build, and it was worth it. So I built something. And the most important aspect is really to do it, because if you don't, who's going to say anything, right? It's much easier for you to be right when you don't do anything than get it wrong when you do it. So let's see the next question. How can we balance the use of no-code, low-code tools to build efficient and scalable websites for products? Ali have asked. I think I know you, Ali. So that's a great question. I would say that for the first version of the product, you should really avoid even to add any low code to it. I would go definitely just no code at all. And then afterwards, add a little bit of a low code. I will also do this with my own product. And this will help you. Why? Because then you build efficiently by really verifying what people use or what they like. What they really are like in this product might not be the feature you thought it was the most important. So it's really interesting for you to just be there for them, put it out, and then when you receive feedback, realize, oh, I don't need these, or I need to build something else, and then become this part of being scalable. For websites, I think this is a little bit different than from apps. I would say that most of the tools today are quite fairly quick, and most of the times we still visit a lot of websites through desktop, depending exactly what is going to happen there, right? A lot of the user journey today is not done on desktop anymore. People are starting using mobile more and more. One of these days, I actually got myself buying something on a website on my phone, and I was, oh wow, this was my first shop. And because I always bought with apps, but I never actually bought anything with a website before. And it is like maybe a month ago. So start small, put it there, check the feedback, and then go for the next thing. So next question, let's see. How do you maintain creativity and innovation throughout the design process, even when faced with tight deadlines or budget constraints? Priyanka, amazing, Priyanka, amazing question. In my case, I try to define deadlines for everything, create a plan. There is a book, very good book called UX Design Team of One. Maybe it's not exactly like that, the title, but I always remember like this, that you can check it out. And it's a very colorful cover with purple and blue and waves. Like you see, I don't even remember the name of the author. Sometimes I'm terrible with names. So I think the creativity always comes from the users. When you have the opportunity to talk with your users and really listen to what they want, it's so interesting, because you may be building something that you have a clue that they want, but when you hear in the interviews they actually want something else, and maybe that is even more feasible, why not go in that direction, right? So I think the creativity is really be opening your eyes and being open to opportunities every time it happens. And the constraints is really about you. Like I did try to do every single day between 2 and 4 hours. And this was my constraint. And I want to build fast and I want to have a life together with it. So you maybe think longer, but you can also do this bit size, right? Like you can do a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, and little bit by little bit, you get the whole product. So let's see what's the next question, if there is any other question. Where do you look for inspiration for your work? From Eugenie. I hope I pronounced your name right. So a lot of people from Dubai here. Yay! I have actually a mentee that lives there. Her name is Shruti. I think I connect you guys. So I most of the time am just aware of what's going on around. So I'm consuming a lot of things every day, and I love to travel. When I travel, seeing different colors, seeing different architecture, seeing different buildings, seeing different people, clothes, all of it, I think it's inspiration for my work. And sometimes it's just going to swim, when you go to swim and then you start to think, and sometimes it also happens that what's in my head when I put on paper is terrible, or I cannot represent that. Maybe I one day you'll be able to. But yeah, I check websites like Behance, Dribble. I think everyone does that, and there are a lot of much better designers than I am as UI designer. Like I really appreciate the work of a lot of other designers, and the big belief I have that I really love about being a designer is that we are so much closer to each other. It's like I feel that people that work as a designers, they look to each other as friends, like as real community. And I love being a designer for that. So I'm really looking for inspiration in all the work of you all. Thank you, Eugene, for the question. Another question from Anyani. So Anyani is a freelancer in India, and she asks, what strategies do you use to stay motivated and productive throughout the design and launch process? That is an amazing question. Stay motivated. I tell you, I love what I do. I really love what I do. And I think I don't really need a lot of motivation to just come to the computer to start working on things I do. But to be productive, it is hard, right? Sometimes you are in front of the computer and you want to check your WhatsApp, your Instagram. I don't use TikTok, I'm afraid. So it's really hard to be productive in this world. What I did was I removed all the notifications from my phone, all of them. So if you call me, no, I won't see it. I will see it just when deliberately I get my phone and I check for it. So, and then I will answer you back, right? That made me a lot more productive. I also canceled notifications in everything. So when I have a task, I use Clockify. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's clockify.io if I am not, or clockify.me, but you can search for it. I can also add on the chat how it's written, Clockify. And Clockify is a great tool for you to manage your time better. So every time I start a task, I put the clock on and I start it. And then when I do a similar project, I know more or less what was the average time I spent to doing that task in other projects. And this is also the way it helps me bill it for my customers. As I see you are a freelancer, that might be helpful for you too. And for other of you guys that want to learn a little bit more, how long it takes for you to do something, some task. So this is what I do. I try to think of everything ahead, plan it, and then do it every day, like the process. I hope that has answered your question. Maybe another question. So, what measures do you take to address potential risks or challenges during the product launch phase? Paritesh. So, Paritesh, I don't take any. I just try to be the best I can, and sadly, we are all humans, or gladly, we are all humans, and we commit mistake. And I hope people forgive me when those mistakes happen. And of course, I don't want anything to go bad, and that's why I test my products, I test my landing pages. I try to be a little bit more conservative of everything I will do far ahead, and think of the content, think of what I will say. It's like this presentation, it took me a while to do the slide deck, it took me a while to think about what I wanted to bring to you, and it took me a while to think of how I would inspire you all to build no-code products. And I hope I have done that. So yeah, there is no way for me to address any potential risk. The risk is really, if you don't do it, it won't work. So it's better for you to do and check it out, and you always learn with your mistakes. Even though seems very cliche, I would say that is so true. So some water for me. Let's see the next question. Do you think the social media space is saturated to create a new product that is in that space? I'm currently working on one, but I want to hear your view about it. Ekene. Ekene, I don't know your product. If it's really niche, it is really for a defined group of people, I would say it's definitely fine. If you want to go to be it for everyone, I would say that everything right now is becoming a social network, even LinkedIn. Like when I saw that follow button there, I was really, what? Like we used to connect with each other. Now we are following each other again. Like, I don't know if you guys also felt like this. I started using Twitter a long time ago, maybe 12 years. Then I stopped for a while. Then I start to use Facebook. I don't use Facebook, I don't know, for 5 or 6 years I know already. Then I start used Instagram. I used almost every day. It was so insane. I actually put a timer on my phone to not use it more than 10 minutes, and every 10 minutes and so on. And then after maybe 3 months, I would not even go there. I still go there for work reasons, but it's less and less. And there is no sense in those networks. Like most of the time you are just consuming whatever. It's like it's just about you to laugh. Also, I also watch series. I also want to do other stuff. So if you are building a new product that is really for a niche people, for a niche, for, I don't know, people that are artisans, for people that do gardening, whatever, if it's for a niche, I think it's definitely fine, and probably communities would benefit of that. But if it's for everyone, I don't see the sense for us to having more networks that we already have. But yes, it could be. I remember Clubhouse. Who here didn't try to get a ticket to, or an invitation to get into Clubhouse? I have stayed there like maybe for a week, and then I stopped. So we all have decided here what we consume, right? I daily consume podcasts. I consume a book with Blinkist. I love Blinkist for books, for listening to summaries and deciding if I really want to read the whole book. So time is so precious, and is the only thing that's not coming back. We must use it wisely. I hope that has helped or answered your question. What are the downsides of no codes versus a full pledge native app? Masinica. Great question. And in Stuttgart, love Stuttgart, have been there for a while. A lot. There are a lot of things that we still cannot be built with no code, or it will be a little bit more slow, or it won't work fully. And that's why I'm not saying to anybody to just do a full product and go to the app store and say like, okay, that's it. And it will be like that. It is really for you to validate your idea. If you start to get traction, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, you have something. You should really hire developers to build this thing for real. And then you are far ahead of those products that actually started with the developers, because now you have something that you know it works and you can improve that. So on the side of the no code app that is working, you can start a development team to do the same thing. I hope that has answered. Is customer journey map the responsibility of the design team? Gioti. I hope I pronounce your name right. So yes and no. Yes, we should build it. Yes, we should think about it. And no, we most of the time we use fake data to create those journey maps. And the idea is really for us to be in touch with the sales team or analytics team, data team, to provide those answers, like what has been happening, where the user is leaving the website or app, and get more insights to know how we build that better. It's a great way to show data, but most of the time we are not showing real data, and that's the problem. So it is our, I would say, responsibility to show that the best way. So the best way would be to us to work with other teams and collaborate and to get real data to it. Next question. I am loving it. Like you guys all have a lot of questions. This is great. So is there other question, Marion, to answer? Or I think those are all of them. I see one from Lisa. Can we comment? Can we answer that? There is Lisa Zamponia. Ah, no, I think she just answered as a question. She answered a question. That's totally fine. Amazing. Thank you guys for all the questions and thank you for being so active on the chat and on the polls. And yeah, I'm really excited for to being here and to have you around.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Hara. Thank you so much for the session and for your time. It was amazing to have you. And yeah, I believe we have covered everything. All the questions has been covered. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll be having next session starting in 4 minutes. But yeah, it was pleasure to have you all here. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you guys. Bye. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Don't forget it.